Too many live in constant fatigue. They chase productivity, ignore exhaustion, punish their bodies with extremes, all in pursuit of more. But more of what? More burnout? More stress? More emptiness? The Stoics would see through this madness. For them, life is not about relentless striving. It is about alignment, harmony between mind and body, wisdom over impulse, sustainability over intensity. Your body is not your enemy. It is not a machine to be hacked, nor a burden to be endured. It is your ally, your companion through life. And if you want to reclaim true energy, strength and focus, not temporary highs, but lasting vitality, you must learn to listen to it, to honor its rhythms, to move with nature, not against it. In this episode, we explore how to reset the body, not through fads, not through force, but through timeless principles rooted in Stoic wisdom. You'll learn how to stop fighting yourself, how to fuel your life rather than numb it, how to build strength, not for vanity, but for resilience, and how to cultivate simple, sustainable habits that elevate your entire way of living. Because the goal is not perfection, it is alignment. The strongest body is not the most sculpted. It is the one that serves your purpose with clarity, consistency, and calm power. So if you are ready to stop running on empty, if you are ready to reclaim your energy, strength, and focus from the inside out, this is your path. Let's begin. 1. Stop punishing your body. Start listening to it. In today's culture, many treat their body as a project to fix. They chase extremes, punishing workouts, rigid diets, endless self-critique. The underlying message is often the same. You are not enough as you are. You must fight your body to improve it. But this mindset is deeply misguided, and it is not Stoic. The Stoic man does not fight nature. He aligns with it. He understands that the body is not an enemy, but an ally, not a burden, but a partner in life's journey. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, what is in accord with nature is always right. The human body is nature. It speaks to us constantly, through hunger, through fatigue, through movement, through stillness. But many ignore these signals in pursuit of artificial ideals. They declare war on their own bodies, forcing it into submission rather than cultivating harmony. Consider how this plays out. A man exhausts himself in the gym, ignoring pain in the name of discipline. Another starves himself chasing aesthetic perfection. Another drowns fatigue in caffeine instead of honoring the need for rest. In each case, the body whispers, but the man does not listen. And over time, the cost is high: injury, burnout, hormonal imbalance, mental fog. The Stoic man takes a wiser approach. He begins by reframing the relationship with his body. It is not a problem to be solved. It is a companion to be understood. He listens to its rhythms. He observes how it responds to food, movement, rest, stress. He respects its limits and works with them, not against them. This does not mean he becomes soft or undisciplined. On the contrary, it is the foundation for sustainable discipline. Because discipline built on self-respect is powerful. Discipline built on self-hatred is fragile. The Stoic man trains hard, but intelligently. He nourishes himself with purpose, not punishment. He rests strategically, knowing that recovery is what allows growth. This mindset shift is profound. When you stop fighting your body, you reclaim immense energy. You move from a state of tension and self-criticism to one of alignment and empowerment. You begin to make choices not from guilt or insecurity, but from wisdom and care. For example, when fatigue arises, you ask, "Is this laziness or a signal I need to honor?" When hunger comes, you ask, "Is this true need or emotional craving?" When pain surfaces, you ask, "Is this growth or warning?" This is Stoic discernment applied to the body. And through this practice, vitality returns. The body, when respected, responds with strength. Energy stabilizes. Recovery improves. Mental clarity sharpens. You stop cycling between extremes and begin building steady, lasting resilience. Ask yourself today, where am I still fighting my body? In what ways am I ignoring its wisdom? And how can I begin listening, not with indulgence, but with respect and alignment? Remember, the Stoic man does not declare war on himself. He aligns with nature. And in this alignment, he finds the foundation for true energy, strength, and focus, not as fleeting highs, but as an enduring way of being. 2. Rest is not weakness, it's wisdom. In a culture obsessed with hustle, many wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. They pride themselves on how little they sleep, how many hours they grind, how relentlessly they push through fatigue. But this is not strength, it is short-sightedness. The Stoic man knows better. He understands that rest is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is a strategic choice that honors the body's needs and preserves the mind's clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." But to access that inner strength, the vessel, the body, must be cared for. A fatigued, depleted body clouds the mind. Exhaustion dulls judgment, weakens discipline, and invites emotional reactivity. The Stoic seeks to maintain a clear, composed inner state, and this requires honoring rest. Fatigue is not an enemy to be conquered. It is a signal, nature's way of telling you that recovery is needed. To ignore it is to court injury, burnout, and long-term decline. Just as the Stoic values silence amid noise, he values rest amid effort. He understands the cycle: stress, recovery, adaptation. Without recovery, there is no true progress, only deterioration masked by temporary output. Consider how this applies to training. Many chase constant intensity, believing that more is better. But the body grows not during the workout, but during recovery. Without adequate rest, sleep, nutrition, downtime, performance plateaus, and injury risk soars. The wise athlete listens to this rhythm, hard days followed by restorative days. He values sleep as a non-negotiable pillar of strength. The same applies to work. Creativity, focus, decision-making all decline under chronic fatigue. The Stoic man does not glorify 16-hour workdays. He structures his time to include renewal, breaks for movement, moments of stillness, deliberate disconnection from digital noise. In doing so, he maintains mental sharpness and emotional stability over the long game. Rest is not passivity, it is preparation. The Stoic man rests with purpose, to return stronger, clearer, more resilient. He does not equate stillness with laziness. He knows that strategic rest enables sustained, high-quality effort. And he is disciplined about protecting this space, even when the world pressures constant activity. This requires courage, especially in modern environments that idolize busyness. To step back, to prioritize sleep, to disconnect, these are radical acts in a culture addicted to doing. But the Stoic man does not seek validation from the crowd. He seeks alignment with nature and wisdom. And nature is clear. Cycles of activity and recovery are essential to life. Ask yourself today, am I treating rest as weakness, or as a vital part of my strength? Where am I ignoring the body's signals in the name of productivity? And how can I begin to honor recovery as an integral part of my progress? Remember, burnout serves no purpose but decay. The Stoic man values sustained excellence over short bursts of exhaustion. He chooses wisdom over ego, and in doing so, he preserves the energy, strength, and focus required to walk his path with power, today and for the years to come. 3. Eat to fuel life, not to escape it. In a world of constant stimulation and emotional overwhelm, many have turned to food not as nourishment, but as escape. Stress, eat. Boredom, eat. Sadness, eat. The body is flooded with inputs it never asked for, not because it is hungry, but because the mind is restless. The Stoic man sees through this cycle. He does not eat to numb life, he eats to fuel it. Every bite is a conscious choice, a vote for vitality or a surrender to indulgence. Seneca wrote, "We should treat the body rigorously, that it may not be disobedient to the mind. But this rigor is not about punishment, it is about alignment." The Stoic man respects his body. He recognizes that food is information. What you consume shapes not only your body, but your mood, your energy, your mental clarity. Junk in, fog out, quality in, strength and focus out. This is why the Stoic man cultivates awareness around eating. He doesn't approach food with guilt or obsession. He approaches it with mindfulness. When he prepares a meal, he asks, "Will this fuel my purpose? Will it support strength, clarity, and resilience?" If the answer is yes, he eats with gratitude. If not, he refrains, not from restriction, but from respect. Contrast this with the average modern pattern: unconscious snacking, emotional eating, consumption without presence. Many eat not because the body signals need, but because the mind seeks distraction. In doing so, they disconnect from the body's natural intelligence. Hunger is no longer honored. It is drowned in constant intake. Satiety is no longer recognized. It is ignored in pursuit of more. The Stoic man reverses this. He trains himself to listen again. He distinguishes true hunger from emotional craving. He reconnects with the body's cues. Am I truly hungry? What does my body need right now? How will this food serve my long-term vitality? Through this practice, eating becomes an act of alignment, not escape. Moreover, he understands that food is not morality. He does not shame himself for occasional indulgences, nor does he use them as excuses for spirals. He maintains perspective. One meal does not define him, but consistent patterns do. And so he builds those patterns deliberately, meals centered on whole, nourishing foods, timed to support energy rhythms, enjoyed with presence. This is not about rigid dieting, it is about conscious living. The Stoic man seeks a sustainable, sane relationship with food, one rooted in respect for the body and alignment with purpose. He eats to perform, to think clearly, to live fully. He does not eat to numb, to distract, to avoid. And here lies a deeper truth. When food is reclaimed as fuel, life expands. Energy stabilizes, mood improves, focus sharpens. The body becomes a more reliable ally in the pursuit of one's mission. The man who eats well not only moves better, he thinks better, decides better, leads better. Ask yourself today, am I eating to fuel life or to escape it? What unconscious patterns are shaping my choices? And how can I begin to approach every meal as an opportunity to honor my body and support my purpose? Remember, hunger is not the enemy. Unconscious eating is. The Stoic man does not fight his body, he aligns with it. And through this alignment, he transforms not only his health, but his entire way of living. 4. Discipline is not restriction, it's self-respect. Far too often, discipline is misunderstood. Many view it as a life of deprivation, a constant battle against pleasure, a rigid existence drained of joy. But this is a shallow view. The Stoic man knows the truth. Discipline is not restriction, it is self-respect. It is the highest form of self-care, the daily choice to align your actions with your values, to live as the man you aspire to be, not as a slave to passing impulses. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This is the heart of discipline, freedom through mastery. The undisciplined man may appear free because he indulges every craving, but he is in chains. Chains of addiction, chains of fatigue, chains of regret. The Stoic man seeks a deeper freedom, the kind born from integrity with self. He retrains his impulses to serve his greater aims, rather than sabotage them. Consider how this plays out in the body. Without discipline, a man eats whatever is easy, whenever he feels an urge. He moves only when motivated. He sleeps inconsistently. Over time, his energy crashes, his strength fades, his clarity clouds. And the worst part, his self-respect erodes. Every time he betrays what he knows is right, he weakens trust in himself. The Stoic man breaks this cycle. He chooses discipline not out of guilt or pressure, but out of reverence for his potential. He asks, "What choices honor my purpose? What patterns build the body and mind I need to live fully?" And then he acts, consistently, calmly, without drama. This does not mean perfection. The disciplined Stoic is human. He encounters cravings, moments of fatigue, slips in behavior, but he does not spiral into shame or excuses. He returns to alignment. He understands that discipline is a practice, not an identity. It is forged one choice at a time. And here's the paradox. The more disciplined you become, the more joyful life is. Because your body feels strong, your mind feels clear, your days are aligned. You are no longer at war with yourself. You move through life with quiet confidence, knowing that your actions match your values. This is why the Stoic man views discipline as self-respect. To indulge every craving is to betray the body. To neglect rest is to sabotage focus. To skip movement is to reject vitality. The disciplined path may require saying no to short-term pleasure, but it says yes to a far greater good, the life you are capable of living. Ask yourself today, where am I mistaking discipline for restriction? In what areas of life am I surrendering to impulse rather than honoring my deeper purpose? And how would my self-respect grow if I began choosing what truly serves me day by day? Remember, discipline is not a prison. It is a path, the path of the free man. The Stoic man walks it not with grim rigidity, but with clarity, with pride, and with deep reverence for who he is becoming. 5. Strength is not about looks. It's about readiness. In today's image-driven world, many pursue strength for the wrong reasons. They chase a certain look in the mirror, defined abs, chiseled arms, not because it serves their life, but because it serves their ego. They treat fitness as performance for others, not preparation for themselves. But the Stoic man understands a deeper truth. Strength is not about appearance. It is about readiness. It is about building a body that serves your mission. One that is resilient, capable, and prepared for life's inevitable challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Physical strength embodies this principle. life will place obstacles in your path: illness, stress, adversity, loss. The body you build today determines how you meet them. Will you be fragile, drained, reactive, or will you stand grounded, energized, and composed? For the Stoic man, this is the purpose of strength: readiness for life, not approval from others. Consider this shift in perspective. The average man trains for the camera, angles, lighting, filters, but the Stoic man trains for the battlefield of life. He asks, can my body support long days of focused work? Can it carry me through periods of stress without breaking down? Can it withstand injury and recover quickly? Can it move with vitality as I age? These are the questions that matter, and from this lens, the nature of training changes. The Stoic man prioritizes functional movement, strength that translates into everyday life. He values mobility, endurance, stability as much as raw power. He does not sacrifice health for aesthetics. He does not chase unsustainable extremes. He builds a body that feels strong, not just looks strong. Moreover, this pursuit is an act of self-respect, not self-obsession. The Stoic man does not idolize his body. He honors it. He trains with gratitude, knowing that each session is a gift, an opportunity to fortify the vessel that carries him through life. Vanity is not the aim, capability is. And this philosophy frees him from comparison. He does not measure himself against younger men, influencers, or fitness models. He measures progress against his own potential, asking only, am I becoming stronger, more capable, more prepared to live fully? In this way, training becomes a personal practice, not a public performance. Strength also cultivates mental resilience. The discipline required to train consistently sharpens willpower. Overcoming physical discomfort builds grit. Achieving new milestones reinforces self-efficacy. The body becomes a reflection of inner mastery, not an ornament, but a statement of who you are. And importantly, strength is built with wisdom. The Stoic man respects recovery. He trains sustainably. He adapts with age. He does not sacrifice long-term well-being for short-term gains. His goal is not to peak and crash. It is to build enduring readiness, a body that serves him for decades to come. Ask yourself today, am I training for looks or for life? Does my pursuit of fitness align with my deeper values? And how can I shift from chasing approval to cultivating readiness, strength that truly serves me and those I lead? Remember, the Stoic man does not build strength to impress. He builds it to prepare for the storms of life, for the service of his mission, for the honor of walking this path with power and purpose, at any age, in any season. 6. Honor your rhythms, not just your goals. Modern productivity culture worships the grind, constant output, relentless hustle, more, faster, harder. Many men adopt this mindset in their fitness and lifestyle as well, pushing harder in the gym when fatigued, ignoring signals from their body, treating rest as weakness, seeing any slowdown as failure. But the Stoic man moves with greater wisdom. He understands that nature operates in rhythms, cycles of effort and recovery, expansion and contraction, growth and rest. And so must he. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the cycles of nature, the seasons, the tides, the phases of life. Observe how all things are continually being born of change, he wrote. The Stoic man applies this truth internally. He honors his body's rhythms. He does not force uniform output every day. He observes, when is my body primed for intensity? When does it need restoration? When is it time to push? And when is it wiser to pull back? This is not softness, it is strategy. The man who honors rhythms trains smarter. He periodizes his efforts, cycles of progressive overload followed by deload weeks. He listens to sleep quality, energy levels, joint health. If signs of overtraining appear, persistent fatigue, irritability, nagging pain, he adjusts. Because he knows that burnout is not progress, it is sabotage. The same principle applies to broader life. The Stoic man does not expect linear productivity. He structures his weeks and months with waves of creative focus, periods of deep work, and intentional phases of recovery. He does not see this as an indulgence, but as the natural order of sustainable excellence. Ignoring rhythms leads to predictable outcomes: fatigue, injury, illness, mental fog. Many burn brightly for a season, only to collapse when unsustainable intensity catches up. The Stoic man avoids this cycle. He builds momentum that lasts because he respects the body's need to ebb and flow. Consider how this might shift your training mindset. Instead of rigidly forcing a 6-day-per-week program, regardless of sleep or stress, you adjust. On days when you are well rested and focused, you train harder. On days of deep fatigue or high life stress, you train lighter or rest entirely. You trade ego for wisdom, and in doing so, you progress faster with fewer setbacks. The same mindset applies to nutrition, sleep, and stress management. The Stoic man observes seasonal shifts: more light in summer, deeper rest in winter. He honors circadian rhythms: early morning light exposure, winding down at night. He aligns his routines with natural patterns, not artificial schedules imposed by hustle culture. And beyond physical rhythms, he honors emotional and mental cycles. He accepts that some days creativity will flow, other days will call for introspection. Some seasons are for building, others are for reflection. He does not fight these tides. He rides them like a skilled sailor navigating the sea of life. Ask yourself today, am I honoring my body's rhythms or fighting them? Where am I forcing output at the expense of recovery? How might my energy, strength, and focus improve if I began aligning with natural cycles rather than imposing artificial ones? Remember, the Stoic man is not less disciplined, he is more attuned. He understands that mastery is not forged through blind force, but through wise alignment. In honoring his rhythms, he builds a life and a body that is both powerful and sustainable. 7. Let go of obsession. Focus on alignment. It's a subtle trap. What begins as a noble pursuit of health or strength can, without awareness, spiral into obsession. The numbers take over: the scale, the reps, the calories, the mirror. What was meant to enhance life begins to consume it. Many men fall into this cycle, believing they are disciplined when, in fact, they are enslaved to perfectionism. The Stoic man chooses a different path. He lets go of obsession and focuses on alignment. Seneca taught, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This applies not only to wealth, but to every pursuit, including fitness and body optimization. The Stoic man does not crave a perfect body. He does not worship numbers or images. He seeks alignment, living in a way that supports vitality, purpose, and virtue, not in a way that feeds vanity or insecurity. Consider the difference. The obsessed man defines success by metrics: hitting an exact weight, maintaining a certain body fat percentage, matching an ideal physique. His self-worth rises and falls with these numbers. He may appear disciplined, but inwardly he is fragile. One missed workout, one off meal, and guilt or shame follow. The Stoic man, in contrast, measures success by alignment. Are my daily actions serving my long-term health? Am I honoring my body's needs? Am I moving, eating, resting in ways that support clarity, strength, and purpose? If the answer is yes, he is content, regardless of fluctuations in appearance or performance. He understands that the mirror can lie. Lighting, angles, transient changes, these do not reflect true health or readiness, nor do arbitrary numbers guarantee vitality. What matters is how the body feels and functions: energy levels, resilience, mental clarity, physical capability. These are the markers of true alignment. Letting go of obsession also frees vast mental energy. The man trapped in constant self-monitoring cannot focus fully on his mission. He is distracted by self-comparison, trapped in cycles of self-judgment. The Stoic man protects his focus. He trains and eats with intention, and then he moves on. His body serves his life. It does not dominate it. This mindset also fosters a healthier relationship with the body. The obsessed man treats the body as an object to sculpt. The Stoic man treats it as a living partner to respect. He listens to its signals, adjusts with wisdom, embraces its natural variability. He is patient with progress, knowing that sustainable growth arises from consistency, not from force or fixation. Moreover, this perspective cultivates peace. The Stoic man is not tormented by imperfections. He does not chase an unattainable ideal. He finds dignity in effort, integrity in action. Whether anyone notices or not, he honors his body daily through movement, nourishment, rest. And this quiet alignment builds a lasting strength, both physical and mental. Ask yourself today, am I pursuing alignment, or am I trapped in obsession? Are my health practices enhancing my life or consuming it? And how might my energy, strength, and focus expand if I shifted from perfectionism to principled alignment? Remember, the Stoic man finds peace not in the mirror, but in integrity. He seeks not a perfect image, but a body and a life aligned with wisdom and purpose. And in this alignment, he builds a strength no numbers can measure and no criticism can shake. 8. Move not to shrink, but to expand. Modern fitness culture often sends a harmful message that movement and exercise are punishments for the body. Burn more, shrink more, suffer to compensate for indulgence. Many men approach movement with this mindset as a form of penance, driven by guilt rather than purpose. But the Stoic man sees through this. He does not move to shrink himself. He moves to expand his energy, his vitality, his capacity to live fully. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is in accord with nature is always right, and movement is deeply natural. The body is designed to move, not as punishment, but as expression of life." The Stoic man honors this truth. He trains not because he hates his body, but because he respects it. He moves not to erase, but to enhance. Consider the energy behind different approaches. The man who trains to punish himself dreads workouts. He drags himself to the gym, driven by self-judgment. He grinds through sessions, disconnected from joy, focused solely on external results. Often this mindset leads to burnout, injury, and resentment toward the body. The Stoic man trains with a different spirit. He moves daily because it affirms life. Each step, each lift, each breath is a declaration: I am alive, I am capable, I am becoming. Movement becomes a celebration of strength, of resilience, of potential. It is not a chore, it is a privilege. This shift transforms how training feels. The Stoic man finds flow in movement. He engages fully, feeling the breath, the muscle, the motion. He seeks quality over quantity, presence over performance. Whether lifting, running, swimming, practicing martial arts, or simply walking, he moves to connect body and mind, to awaken vitality. Moreover, he moves to expand his life beyond the gym. Functional strength to play with his children, mobility to hike mountains, endurance to travel, explore, serve. The goal is not to fit a mold. It is to build a body that supports the experiences he values. Movement becomes preparation for a rich, active life. And this mindset guards against extremes. The Stoic man does not wreck his body for aesthetic trends. He does not sacrifice joint health for short-term gains. He builds intelligently, sustainably, honoring what the body can do today while preparing it for decades to come. He embraces the full spectrum of movement: strength, flexibility, endurance, coordination, because a capable body is a free body. This philosophy also liberates him from comparison. He does not measure progress against others. He asks only, am I expanding my capacity? Am I stronger, more mobile, more resilient than before? In this way, each session becomes a personal practice, a space to cultivate growth without ego. Ask yourself today, why do I move? To shrink or to expand? Is my training a punishment or a practice of self-respect and vitality? And how might my energy, strength, and focus evolve if I approached movement as a celebration of life? Remember, the Stoic man does not move to atone for past choices. He moves to embody his present purpose. Each step, each breath, each rep is an affirmation of life, a conscious choice to expand, to build, to become. And through this, he walks a path of growing strength, not just in body, but in spirit. 9. Master the first hour, own the rest of the day. How a man begins his day often determines how he lives it. Many wake to noise, their phones buzzing, emails demanding attention, social media pulling their focus outward before they've even taken a breath. They stumble into the day, reactive, scattered, already behind. The Stoic man refuses to live this way. He masters the first hour, and in doing so, he owns the rest of the day. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself each morning, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. This reflection was not random. It was a ritual, a conscious setting of mind and spirit for the day ahead. The Stoic man adopts this same approach. He does not leave his mornings to chance. He crafts them with intention. Why is this so powerful? Because the first hour of the day shapes your nervous system, your mindset, your focus. If you begin in chaos, you condition yourself for reactivity. But if you begin with clarity, you prime yourself for composure and purposeful action. The Stoic man understands this and guards the first hour fiercely. Practically, this means simplicity. The Stoic morning is not about elaborate routines or chasing the latest biohacks. It is about grounding in what matters: hydration to awaken the body, movement to stimulate blood flow and energy, stillness through meditation, reflection, or journaling to center the mind, and setting clear intentions for the day. What must I build today? Who must I serve? How must I show up? This practice builds momentum. When the first hour is owned, decisions throughout the day become easier. Energy flows more steadily. Distractions lose their grip. The man who begins with intention carries that intentionality into meetings, into training, into relationships. He responds rather than reacts. He builds rather than drifts. Contrast this with the typical modern start: phone in hand before getting out of bed, bombarded with stimuli, chasing urgency before even moving the body. Such a beginning puts a man in a reactive loop, one that often dominates the entire day. The Stoic man chooses differently. He carves space in the morning not as indulgence, but as preparation, knowing that a clear, grounded start compounds into clearer, more grounded decisions. And this practice is adaptable, whether the first hour is a leisurely sunrise ritual or a compressed sequence before early obligations. The principle remains: begin with intention, not reactivity. Even 5 minutes of focused breathing and reflection can anchor the day. The key is ownership, deciding how you will start, rather than letting the world decide for you. Ask yourself today, how am I beginning my days? Am I mastering the first hour or surrendering it to noise? What simple, repeatable actions could I build into my mornings to reclaim this powerful space? Remember, the Stoic man does not drift into his day. He steps into it prepared, body aligned, mind clear, purpose front of mind. He masters the first hour, and from this foundation, he owns the rest. 10. The basics are the real biohacks. In a world obsessed with shortcuts and shiny new solutions, many chase the latest biohacks, exotic supplements, extreme protocols, high-tech gadgets. They seek complex answers while neglecting the fundamentals. But the Stoic man sees through this. He understands. The basics are the real biohacks. The simplest practices, done consistently, yield the greatest returns for energy, strength, and focus. Seneca warned against unnecessary complexity. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The same applies to health optimization. Many overcomplicate wellness, thinking that sophistication equals effectiveness. But the body is built on simple rhythms, and it thrives when these are honored. The Stoic man prioritizes these first. Consider sleep. No supplement can replace consistent, high-quality rest, yet many neglect it, sacrificing sleep for late-night screens or extra work. The Stoic man reverses this. He guards his sleep as sacred. A consistent rhythm, a dark, cool room, a wind-down routine. These basic practices outperform any trendy sleep gadget. Hydration is another overlooked pillar. Many chase nootropics while ignoring the fact that even mild dehydration impairs cognition and mood. The Stoic man begins his day with water, maintains hydration deliberately, understanding that clarity of thought depends on cellular vitality. Movement is equally foundational. In a sedentary world, regular walking is profoundly restorative, improving circulation, mood, metabolism, and creativity. The Stoic man walks daily, not as a chore, but as a ritual of presence and vitality. He knows that simple, frequent movement beats sporadic extremes. Breath is yet another basic with outsized impact. Conscious breathing, slow, deep, diaphragmatic, calms the nervous system, sharpens focus, and fosters resilience under stress. The Stoic man practices this, especially amid life's pressures. He breathes with awareness, using the breath as an anchor to the present. And nature, sunlight, fresh air, connection to the natural world remains undefeated. No infrared sauna or cold plunge can replace daily exposure to light and the elements. The Stoic man aligns with this truth. A walk in morning sunlight, time under the open sky, grounding moments in nature, renew energy and restore balance. These are not novel ideas, and that is precisely the point. The basics endure because they are aligned with human design. The Stoic man does not chase novelty for its own sake. He asks, what practices sustain vitality across time? What behaviors align with nature and wisdom? and he builds his life on these timeless foundations. Moreover, this mindset guards against distraction. The pursuit of cutting-edge hacks often becomes avoidance, a way to feel productive without addressing the real work. The Stoic man avoids this trap. He masters the fundamentals first. Only then, if additional tools are warranted, does he explore them, from a place of sufficiency, not scarcity. Ask yourself today, am I chasing complexity while neglecting the basics? How consistent is my sleep, hydration, movement, breath, and connection to nature? What simple practices could I deepen to reclaim greater energy, strength, and focus? Remember, the Stoic man builds from the ground up. He honors what is simple because it works. In doing so, he reclaims a vitality that no fad can match, a strength rooted in nature, discipline, and enduring wisdom. 11. The goal is not perfection, it's consistency. Perfection is a seductive illusion. Many men fall for it, believing that if they can just find the perfect routine, the perfect diet, the perfect training plan, then everything will click. But this pursuit often leads to paralysis, burnout, or endless program hopping. The Stoic man rejects this trap. He knows the truth. The goal is not perfection, it is consistency. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You must build up your life action by action, and be content if each achieves its goal as far as possible, and no one can keep you from this." In other words, progress is built in the daily repetitions, in steady action, not flawless action. The Stoic man applies this principle to the body. He does not chase an idealized version of perfect health. He commits to the basics, done well, done often, done with integrity. Why is this so powerful? Because perfection is fragile. One missed workout, one imperfect meal, one poor night of sleep, and the perfectionist mindset crumbles. The man trapped in this cycle spirals. I failed. I've lost progress. What's the point? The Stoic man avoids this. He anchors in consistency. One missed day is just that, one day. He returns calmly the next. Because he knows what matters is not isolated moments, but the pattern over time. This mindset also frees him from comparison. He does not chase others' highlight reels. He does not demand perfect adherence to external standards. He asks instead, am I showing up today? Am I honoring my values through action? Am I building momentum, however small? In this way, he creates a virtuous cycle where success is defined by presence and persistence, not by unattainable ideals. Moreover, consistency is what transforms the body and mind. Dramatic bursts, extreme diets, grueling challenges often yield temporary changes followed by rebound, but daily, sustainable actions, quality sleep, nourishing food, regular movement, mindful recovery, compound. Over weeks, months, years, they reshape physiology, fortify resilience, and deepen vitality. And consistency builds identity. Each small choice is a vote for the man you are becoming. The Stoic man understands this. When he chooses a nourishing meal, when he moves his body, when he honors sleep, he reinforces the identity of a disciplined, self-respecting man. Over time, this identity becomes self-perpetuating. Consistency flows more easily because it aligns with who he is. Importantly, this approach fosters self-compassion. The Stoic man does not punish himself for missteps. He learns from them. He adapts. He returns. In doing so, he avoids the toxic cycle of guilt and relapse that perfectionism breeds. He treats each day as a new opportunity to practice alignment, to build strength, to live with purpose. Ask yourself today, Am I chasing perfection or building consistency? How do I respond to setbacks? Am I focused on dramatic changes or on steady, sustainable actions that align with my values? Remember, the Stoic man is not seeking to be flawless. He is seeking to be faithful to his principles, to his purpose, to the daily actions that move him forward. In this, he builds a strength far greater than perfection, the quiet, unshakable power of consistency, the foundation of lasting energy, resilience, and self-mastery. Throughout this entire reflection, one truth becomes clear. Reclaiming your energy, strength, and focus is not about hacks, extremes, or perfection. It is about alignment. It is about choosing daily actions that honor the body, respect its rhythms, and support your mission in life. The Stoic man does not chase fleeting results or punish himself with unsustainable routines. He builds patiently, intentionally, consistently, a foundation of vitality that serves him in every pursuit. He listens to his body, treating it not as an enemy to conquer, but as an ally to respect. He values rest as much as effort, knowing that true progress is built on the balance of both. He eats with awareness, moves with purpose, and guards his peace fiercely. He understands that strength is not about appearance, but about readiness, the ability to meet life's demands with resilience and composure. And most importantly, he embraces the simple truth that the basics, done consistently, are what transform. He is not seduced by trends or distracted by perfectionism. He commits to what is timeless: quality sleep, mindful movement, nourishing food, stillness, connection to nature. From this, he builds a body and mind aligned with wisdom, capable, clear, and composed. So now the path turns to you. Ask yourself, where am I fighting my body, and where can I begin to listen? Where am I chasing perfection, and where can I choose consistency? How can I simplify, align, and commit, so that my energy, strength, and focus grow not in short bursts, but in steady waves that carry me forward? Remember, the Stoic man does not seek to conquer his body. He seeks to understand it, and through this understanding, he builds a life where the body serves the mind, and the mind serves a greater purpose. This is the path of true vitality. It begins today, and it begins within your next choice. Step into it with clarity, with calm, with unshakable resolve.